So I want to hear a little bit about capture because people have compared it to the Hunger Games, the Blair Witch Project. How do you describe it?
I describe it as its own project. I mean, I've heard the comparisons, and I think any type of scenario where people are hunting people or at real sort of peril, you can draw parallels. But this really is unique. You know, we have 12 teams who are put into a wilderness compound, and they have to compete against each other in the form of hunting each other in order to make it through the competition.
Well, and it's interesting because I do feel like there have been a lot of survivalist shows to crop up, but this looks really challenging. I mean, we see people getting injured, people in tears. So it seems like a really tough experience to go through.
It is, and it's not your traditional, you know, survivor type show. I mean, this is the first time that we give them a little bit of power. You know, I say to the contestants, you will hunt and be hunted. They're two skills that they have to acquire in order to make it through to the end.
Right.
So they actually have a little bit of power over their own destiny. They have to go out there and work really hard and track people down and capture them, put them in jail, get rid of them and eliminate them. They're playing an active role in their, you know, progress through the game, and that's something that we don't generally see.
Yeah.
They also have to survive in some very harsh conditions. We don't give them a lot of food. The weather is pretty bad at times.
Yes.
It's icy at night, it's hot during the day. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So, Luke, you're also a marine biologist, and I know you've got some exciting plans coming up for Shark Week, so what can you tell us about that project?
I can tell you a little bit.
Okay.
Shark Week starts on August 4. Last year I did a special project where the sponsor was Volkswagen, so we turned I actually built from the ground up with my team a Volkswagen Beetle that drove underwater. So
it's very cool looking if you have a chance to look it up online too.
We call it the Shark Observation Volkswagen.
Right.
It's basically a mobile shark cage that I'm driving around. It's got propellers on it and stuff. It's really cool. This year we're doing everything that I wanted to do last year that we couldn't because of time and budget and testing restrictions and everything else, we did this year. So we've got the extra power. We've also got the dive planes, and what I wanted to do last year was to be able to fly. This year I'm actually flying around with the sharks.
Wow.
Can't say much more than that, but it's really impressive what we managed to do.
Yeah, it'll get up close and personal this year in a new way.
The technology of actually building an underwater submersible that works is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially in the time frames and everything else, and being forced to make it, you know, exactly like a Beetle. I mean, it's within a 1/4 inch of tolerance from the actual design.
Wow.
So a lot of challenges there, and you know, we've got the best team in the world to do it. So we managed to pull it off, and I think we came out with something impressive. So that starts August 4 and runs throughout the week.
Okay. Now, with all of these years behind you, having dived with the sharks, have you had a particularly terrifying experience? There has to be at least one, right?
I'd say there's more than one. You know, I pride myself as a professional. I work with some great guys. We're constantly in the water with animals that are investigating us, and we're putting ourselves in that scenario because we're surrounded by bait or doing something to purposely be interactive with the sharks. So we are seeing slightly artificial behavior compared to what, you know, they do if they swam up next to you and you weren't trying to, you know, feed them a dead fish.
Right.
But
which was not recommended to anyone at home.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. But, you know, as much careful planning as we can do, they're always wild animals. So yeah, I've had a couple of close calls, maybe a shark that does something that we didn't quite predict.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of work with great whites, and they particularly can be a little twitchy, and you just have to watch out for what's going on. I've been in a scenario where I've had 8+ individuals around me and a couple of them that were a little close for comfort.
Wow.
You know, I've been within a few feet of serious disaster a couple of times.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, we're glad that you're here in one piece.
Me too.
Yes. And thank you for stopping by today. And
Pleasure.
be sure to catch Capture on the CW tonight when it premieres.
Tonight, 9 o'clock.